Hello everybody, Lasshatry here. Welcome back to Life is Strange All Wounds. This is a fan-made game based off of a fan fiction, I do believe, created by Destiny Smasher. And we, I think, are going to be going on to chapter 2 now. I just finished chapter 1. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend starting at the beginning. And if you have not seen or played Life is Strange all the way through, you might want to go do that. This is going to have hella spoilers in it. So we're just going to keep going. And let's see. So other Max is going to fucking torment us again. And I hate this bitch. She's putting Max through way too much guilt. And I get, like, this is realistic. This would happen. Max is beating herself up about her choosing Chloe. She's beating herself up about choosing Chloe. So had your fun. La-di-da. You done yet? Or are you going to try digging deeper down this rabbit hole? Let me try chapter 2. Well, the rabbit hole does go deeper, I guess, but ain't really dug much farther than chapter 2 just yet. Have fun pissing around in Chloe's brain, I guess. So now we are going to be playing the game from Chloe's perspective and seeing what's going on there. So they both are wearing the necklace. That's so weird. It's nice art, though. Chapter 2 is Fritter. That art is just so beautiful. The cold had passed. Things were warmer that evening. A menacing monstrosity of wind and chaos, delicious but horrible chaos, rampaged before her. Distant enough that she felt out of harm's way, yet close enough to still be pretty goddamn terrifying. The raindrops were like needles against her skin, the wind snapping and biting, clawing at her. Everything had just been clawing, grabbing, swiping, days and days of this, like the universe itself was trying to shred her from existence. The icy fingertips of death brushing against her neck time and again. Yeah, I can't read. Time and again, but she was still standing, watching that tornado slowly pass by. It was like staring death face to face, and Chloe had been ready for it, at peace with it, beside the lighthouse. It had taken the past week with Max back in her life to make her feel this way, make her realize how fucked up her priorities had gotten, make her realize how she really didn't deserve to still be alive. And yet, she was still standing. And death was drifting by, taking Arcadia Bay away, like a child throwing a temper tantrum when it was denied its candy. A fucking big-ass, godlike child. Well, maybe it was more like watching death drive by, a renegade speeding through a red light, flipping Chloe the bird as it passed. She could hear the fucker shrieking, "YOLO, bitch! YOLO ho ho!" as it sped past, sped being metaphorical. Watching that tornado roll on by was at once hell-raising, but not exactly quick. Anyway, either way, Chloe Price was still standing, against all odds, against all logic. She felt so warm, warmer than she could remember feeling in a long time, overwhelmed with too many different emotions to keep track of. And the person responsible for this, all of it, was clinging to her for dear life. Max's tears and snout were mixing with the rain sticking to Chloe's shirt. Max's fingers were tightening, gripping at her leather jacket. Max's breaths were erratic, her sobs heavy, tugging at Chloe's insides. Chloe had been tempted in the heat of the moment to lighten the mood, make some kind of crack about a whirlwind of emotions, am I right? But, yeah, no, not so much. Poor Max probably wouldn't have been able to handle that. Oh, Maxine fucking Caulfield, that crazy, beautiful mistake of nature, saving Chloe's life. What kind of crazy things had Max been through that week? Chloe could only imagine, and nothing she imagined was particularly pleasant. Goddamn nightmares, she figured. She'd never seen Max so broken apart before, torn up, all for Chloe's sake, at that. Girl must have been through some dark shit. And thanks to Supermax putting up with said dark shit, there Chloe was, letting Max's warmth fill her, watching her hometown get rendered to rubble. And Chloe had never felt more alive. Max's raw emotion was drizzling out in a mess of teardrops and raindrops and snot drops. Words she just said a minute or two prior repeated themselves in Chloe's head, cutting through all the noise. Don't say that. I won't trade you. Fuck that. No, no way. You are my number one priority now. You are all that matters to me. So this is exactly what Max had said at the ending of episode 5 if we had chose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay and save Chloe. Max could screw around with time and fucking space, and she'd done it for Chloe. She was willing to let this crazy storm tear an entire town apart just to be with Chloe. What the fuck do you say to that? How do you respond? How are you supposed to even feel? Chloe had no friggin' idea. What she did know was that somehow she'd been given a second chance at living. Max Caulfield actually cared. That much. So fucking much that she was willing to make such a crazy choice like that. Mind blow right there. With Max hung across her in the storm, Chloe's eyes pooled with tears. Her heart raced. Her hands shook as she tried to comfort her heartbroken friend. Her best friend. Her partner in time. The weight of this realization of being loved to such a degree was incomprehensible in the moment. No one was supposed to do things like that for Chloe Price. How was she supposed to go on hating the world, huh? And after she could wrap her head around someone caring that much, how could Chloe possibly make up for such a loss? She was not worth it. There were no two ways about it. Especially now after being with Max for this past week, it was extremely clear to Chloe how selfish she'd been, what kind of person she'd been turning into. But Max had just given her a fresh start, a second shot, and yet she didn't know, become a fucking saint? Yeah, good luck with that, and no way could it make up for what was being lost right then, right in front of their eyes. What the hell was Chloe going to do? What other choice did she have other than to make the most of the second chance? No, she had to do more than that. She had to at least make sure Max was able to live the kind of life she deserved. A second chance for both of them. It wouldn't be enough to tip the balance of fucking fate, the universe, whatever. But hopefully it would be enough to keep them both afloat. Chloe, Max, the barista calling out their names in quick succession like that. It was kind of jarring, in a cool way. Max and Chloe. Chloe and Max. Makes me of Max and Ruby. Ruby and Max. Sorry. Which order sounded better? Chloe could see herself getting used to the sound of either, but they really needed, like, a team name. Not one from when they were kids. They needed a new team name. One for this post-traumatic world they were now living in. I don't know. How about PriceField? Well, if it isn't the Wonder Twins. Frank had been sarcastic, but Chloe kinda liked it. Ugh, but that was dumb, huh? Damn, had Frank and his dumb mutt made it out of that shitstorm? Chloe's brain briefly boiled with embarrassed thoughts and feelings. Max has just got blood on her coat, and I just feel she looks so out of it. And I love the artwork. I know that I'll read this in a second, but her hair is just so pretty. Chloe's hair and her tattoo is just so well done. I am just so impressed with this artwork. She couldn't believe that. She couldn't believe that Rachel has straight up lied to her about that guy. And come on, him? She could... Max! Chloe! The barista was looking right at them from her spot behind the counter with some impatience. Max, still a bit shaken, twisted a little as if to get up, but Chloe gestured for her to stay seated. Nah, I got it. Chloe got up from her seat, noting the barista was still gawking around with confusion. Signal the barista. Chloe pointed up an index finger to the barista. The barista just gaped at her for a second with this stink-eye look. Chloe would be there in 2 shakes. What was that chick's rush? Chloe glanced back to see a still stunned Max in her chair. She paused, noticing that Max had unzipped the leather jacket she was borrowing. Bloodstains were littered over Max's shirt. They, didn't need that sort of attention. Yo. Sidestepping around the table, Chloe tipped her chin up and pitched her fingers near her chest, as if such a vague on the DL motion would make any sense. Chloe's eyes squinted as she tried to figure out what she was even trying to whisper in the first place. Max was doe-eyed and slack-jawed, still shaken up. Arg. Let's zip up her jacket, because we don't want anyone to think we murdered someone. Chloe took matters into her own hands, literally, and zipped up the coat for Max. She whispered into Max's ear with a British accent. you've got red... I can't do British accents, but she says you got red onion. I would try, but I'll make an ass of myself. With that taken care of, Chloe finally approached the counter. On her way there, she finally took note of the music playing through the sound system. It was, like, really freaking familiar. Chloe knew it from somewhere. Something about that song was leaving a weird pit in her stomach for some reason. For some reason, hearing the song had gotten her dwelling on the night before in the first place. But that was in the past, and really the past should stay where it was, right? Shaking the uneasiness off, Chloe reached their tray of brunch. 2 tall cups of some fancy-sounding shit Max had picked out, one with soy, the other with hella raspberry creamer. A bagel and egg sandwich for Max, some turkey club deal for Chloe, and a bag of donuts. Chloe gawked at the 2 names written on the cups, still kind of bedazzled at the reality laid before her. They weren't just back in action now. This wasn't crime-busting shenanigans. This was fucking living, you know? Not like extravagant living, but yeah. It pinched at Chloe's chest for a moment. This was what she had been wanting with Rachel for a long time. This. Just being together on the road, eating out together, traveling together, plotting a course for a ship built for 2. The SS... still needed a name. Anyway, it just wasn't going at all like Chloe had anticipated. Chloe felt like a dipshit when she realized she'd just been standing there gawking at her much-needed meal. The barista, who'd gone off to ring someone else up, returned with a slightly wary expression. Trying to look less zoned out, Chloe began probing the contents, checking the inside of the bag in their tray. 2 drinks, 2 sandwiches, 2 donuts. Something seemed missing. Did we miss anything? The barista timidly wondered. Yeah, you did. With a grumpy stoicism to her, Chloe replied, yeah, you did. The barista was seemingly uncaring, but lingered with a vapid expression. Chloe found the girl's apathy kind of cute. What the hell? I paid for 4 donuts, but there's... Had to double check the bag. Nope, she wasn't crazy. There's only, like, 2 here. The barista's face flickered with impatience, still kind of cute. Can I see the receipt? Chloe fished out the crinkled up receipt and handed it over. Doy. When they'd placed their order, Max had been so far out of orbit she hadn't picked her donut flavor. Chloe reminisced about times back in middle school when she and Max would visit the local bakery built into the grocery store down the street. They made some good stuff there, and for cheap. She and Max would take turns picking out a flavor of donut and would get 2 of each, making each other try the other's choice. Not this time, apparently. Max was still out of it. So Chloe would have to step up to the donut choosing duty for both of them. Poor girl had made enough tough decisions for a while, huh? Ugh. Chloe couldn't even crack a dumb joke in her own head without feeling like an asshole. But anyway, Chloe had picked apple fritters for her own half, could never go wrong. Oh, sorry, I'll get those. What did you want? I don't know, but I'm feeling chocolate covered can't be bad. Max probably likes chocolate. Give me 2 of those chocolate covered ones. The barista snatched them up with those weird waxy tissue sheets. Just the sound of that paper crinkling was making Chloe hungry for sugar. Chloe grinned like a schoolgirl at a candy store as she watched the donuts get plunked into her bag. There you go. Beauty, thanks. Uh-huh. When Chloe reached the table, she realized she hadn't come up with the usual witty quip or remark to mark her entrance. She just smiled a stupid smile that immediately dissolved at Max's downtrodden glance. Hey! Chloe set the tray down hastily, eager to undo what she perceived as sending Max's mood a centimeter further into the wrong direction. The girl needed some goddamn food. They both did. They hadn't eaten since the night before. Spending the night sleeping in a truck on the side of the road also hadn't done wonders for their stamina stats. Foodstuffs for your face stuffs, Max. When Max's eyes lit up a bit at the sight of her meal, it brought a reprieve to Chloe's doubts. After immediately scarfing down a big bite of her breakfast sandwich between bites... Thanks. She was really going to town there. Chloe caught herself staring when her stomach growled uncomfortably. Snapping back to her senses, she chowed down herself. The two ate in peace for a couple of minutes, occasionally swapping glances. Max was really devouring her sandwich, but had yet to touch her coffee, while Chloe danced between the two. The fuller Chloe's stomach became, the more queasy she got. It was the silence between them. Yeah, the silence was starting to feel weird. There'd been way more than enough silence during their morning travels. Max's house was still a little ways off, but they'd be there by sundown. In either case, silence. It was unsettling. Chloe desperately brainstormed searched for a topic of discussion. The barista? So, that barista chick, giving us the stink eye and crap. What you think her deal is? She's sort of cute though, right? Max just shrugged at me. Yeah, you're right. Looks aren't everything. Well, maybe Max was too busy eating to have much to say, but that meant the poor girl was taking care of herself at least. So, anyway, was your sandwich good? How's the coffee? Max nodded complacently. She swallowed the gulp of coffee she'd been given, sighed with some relief, and wiped her lip with the sleeve of Chloe's jacket, which she was still wearing. Well, drink up, sister. Got a few more hours to go. Chloe lightly drummed her knuckle against the table to the jazzy beat of the music playing through the cafe's speakers. Max took another sip, scratched her nose, and then sighed. Chloe? Yep. We're going to my house, right? Chloe took pause at Max's question. They'd already discussed this the day prior. They were going to the Caulfields. Max's parents didn't know that yet, but Max did. It had been Max's idea. After taking a moment to recover from her stun, Chloe nodded simply. That's the plan, anyway. Right. Chloe rubbed her hands on her elbows a little. She was actually starting to get a bit cold without her coat. Max wasn't looking too great either. Chloe paused, then extended her arm upright across the table, giving Max a sympathetic, worried look. Max didn't seem to notice the gesture. Or maybe she wasn't taking what Chloe was given. Hey. Yeah? What's up with you, bud? Nothing, Chloe. Max's head jerked in an uncertain way as she swirled her remaining coffee in its cup. Sorry. The whole reality jumping thing, it kinda... I gotcha. With a soft chuckle, Chloe tried to empathize. My mind would be hella fucked up too if... Fucking... Damn it, Chloe. I mean, like, if I was... Nope, hella nope, shut the fuck up now, please, thanks, okay, bye. Chloe's stomach folded over on itself. Her still digesting food caused discomfort. Max's expression turned a bit sour. Chloe knew that Max knew what she'd meant, but like, she totally bombed right there. Shit had come out wrong. Time to unleash her desperation move. Crack a joke. That's so Chloe. Chloe cleared her throat, sifted through her side bangs with her nail, and gave Max a pleading, humor-laced smile. So, I know this is a total dick move, but could you, like, rewind to give me a second shot at not saying that? Max gawked for a moment, but then her expression curled into an endeared little smile that Chloe knew well. It was the first time she'd seen Max smile like that all day. Chloe... Max said simply, brushing a fingertip down against her cheekbone like dusting off her cheek. Chloe had noticed over the past week that Max seemed to do this gesture a lot during conversation. Chloe's guess was it was some awkward, adorable tick when Max was nervous or didn't know what to say. After Chloe sighed through her nose in spite of her staring, she realized that Max had not followed up with any kind of verbal reply. The ever so brief pause of relief with a weak smile on her face was, no, it was not good enough. Fuck that. Max had been through, well, Chloe didn't know what exactly or how much or how far, but sure seemed like a lot. Max just kept staring. Chloe's stomach felt light even though it was full. Chloe wasn't sure what to say. She was just caught up in Max's face. Max's eyes sparked at hers. It was weird and amazing. Chloe could feel her cheeks getting warm, her face twisted into a dumb smile. The moment was almost as syrupy sweet as Chloe's drink, but it passed too soon. Chloe guzzled a gulp of her sugary, caffeine-infused drink, hoping she'd recover from her social flop. So much sugar and artificial shit she could feel her bloodstream getting secondhand effects on the way down her throat. Max brushed sandwich crumbs on her pants as she stood up. Even though there were napkins right there, like literally right there, Chloe's chest swelled with a bit of pride. +5 lazy points. Max got up, scooting her chair out and leaving it out. Another +5 lazy points. Nice. How high could the score stack today? Max's eyes scanned for a restroom. BRB. Bathroom break. Chloe tossed her an alternate but appropriate solution to the acronym off the top of her head. She grabbed a slight smirk from Max and was a centimeter further satisfied. As Max brushed by, Chloe went to reach out her hand, give Max an encouraging hand squeeze, or good luck with the shitting, bud. You got this, girl. Believe in yourself. Yeah, not so much. She started to gesture, though, so to save face, she just waved like an idiot. Max curiously waved back. Chloe ever so briefly considered keeping her company, but meh, she'd been over that sort of shit years ago. Chicks took pisses together or pretended to piss so they could gossip, chat it up in private. Chloe had no use for that garbage. She was pretty sure Max didn't either. If you wanted to talk with someone, you did it face to face and not while expelling crap out your ass, and who cared if other people heard what they had to say anyway? Chloe scratched her nails at her itchy scalp beneath her beanie, glanced across the coffee shop. And not much to see in the way of bird watching here. A couple solid 6s in her book, maybe. Nothing worth committing to memory for later use, much less... Max's phone had gone off. It was still sitting on the table. Uh-oh. Well, hey, if Max hadn't taken her phone, she probably wasn't going to be in the bathroom for long, right? Chloe waited for the phone to buzz a second time, but it didn't. Thank fuck. She wouldn't have known what to do. What if it had been Mrs. Caulfield or something like that? Oh, right, Chloe had offered to call them soon anyway. Well, too delayed to be a phone call. Definitely text. Chloe was tempted to read it, so she could just flip the phone over. Probably glean a bit from the lock screen. Hey, it could be important or something. Let's peek at Max's phone. I don't know, I feel like that's something Chloe would do. Chloe couldn't help it. She just flipped the phone over, look at the notifications, just in case, From Victoria. I'll link you to the article. It's looking from Stella. Haven't from him yet. I'm worried. From Dad. Max, call us when you get this. We need to know 2 chicks' names. They were familiar-ish. Seemed like they were texting Max about all the hell let loose recently. And Max's pops, Ryan, right? He seemed all worried and stuff. Bleh, they really needed to call their folks soon, huh? Chloe's shoulders flinched when she heard someone walk by and she set the phone down quickly. Nope, not Max, way too tall. Ugh, damn it. With a sigh, Chloe slid the phone back where it had been. Chloe's attention perked like an excited pup at the first sign of Max exiting the bathroom. But then Chloe noticed that Max had a clump of toilet paper wedged into her right nostril. It had some blood on it. Chloe watched Max dab at her nose a bit as she approached the nearest trash bin and chucked the bloody napkin in. A dark, dubious dilemma entered Chloe's thoughts in those seconds, waiting for Max to sit back down. What if it was all made up? No, seriously, what if Max wasn't a time traveler at all? What if something had fucked up her brain, like medically? It had been 5 fucking years since they had hung out, or even interacted. For all Chloe knew, Max could have been in a Something could have happened. Something could have messed up Max's brain. Max cautiously took her seat, scooting back in -5 points, and avoided Chloe staring. What if the whole time travel bit was a bit? Maybe seeing Chloe for the first time in so long, having a gun pointed at her like that, could have triggered some crazy ass trauma. The time travel thing was just how her fucked up head perceived shit. If Max's brain was fucking bleeding, she could have some major issues. Chloe? You moron, don't go thinking crap like that. Max is fine. She saved your life. She has the powers of a god. How you doing? I'm okay. She wouldn't lie, but if she thought it was real, it wouldn't be lying, would it? Seriously, you can be chill. Max's tone gained a layer of awkwardness. Max sniffed, rubbing her fingertip against her dried nose, like it somehow proved she was okay. Anything I can do? Can I, help with it somehow? I don't know, maybe get you some aspirin, or pretty sure that won't really help, but thanks. Max can totally rewind time, you dipshit. You tortured her for 3 days, making her prove she could in how many different ways? She's a goddamn child of the atom for sure. Max sniffed and rubbed her sleeve against her nose a bit. Didn't look like it was bleeding anymore. It gets better though, right? Usually. Max had uttered the word dubiously. So dubiously it made Chloe uncomfortable. Max took a few seconds regaining her bearings. It looked it. Chloe passed these seconds scarfing down more of her donut, desperately craving some kind of sugary relief. Her head went in the stupid fucking direction of worrying about making those family calls. Worrying about finding out about all of the people who are fucking dead now because of the freak tornado that somehow no one saw coming. Worrying about how Rachel needed a funeral. How a friggin' lot of people were gonna need funerals. Fuck. Worrying about how Max Caulfield was going to deal with the weight of this stuff. Worrying about how she was going to deal with while helping poor Max at the same time. Chloe snapped out of her stupor long enough to notice that Max had stopped. Max was just sitting there, eyes glazed over, face pale, looking at her phone. Max? Chloe was mumbling, hoping the sinking feeling in her chest wasn't so obvious on the outside as it was on the inside. You should eat. Donuts. Eat one. For reals, barely eaten for days, right? That twiggy ass of yours needs food, girl, so come on, eat up. Everything, Chloe. Max was stirring out of her trance-like state, but she wasn't doing too well. Everything fucking dies. Well yeah, Max sorta seems like the cost of living, I guess? Fucking everything I touch. Max moaned under her breath, shoving her palm against her forehead. She pressed her hands against her skull, trying to flatten a pizza of despair, or the bunny. Her eyes went wide as her hands pushed across her head. Max then gaped at Chloe with realization. It took Chloe a few seconds of recollection to figure it out. When Kate had taken a dive, damn it, Chloe, Max had taken it upon herself to adopt the girl's poor pet rabbit. Things had escalated a bit with the whole serial killer, kidnappings, time travel, tornado mess. And now Max just had another thing to beat herself up over, as if there wasn't enough thrown off the table already. The girl was finding odds and ends, forgotten scraps, and throwing them off too. Chloe tried to think of what to say. Okay, so I'm actually going to call it here. I really don't want Max to be putting herself through such a guilt trip, and I mean, I don't know, the bunny could be alive. It doesn't have to be dead. That doesn't mean the tornado hit the school or whatever. So maybe we can try to make her feel better as Chloe. I'm really enjoying this. It's actually, I think I'm even enjoying this more so. It's really horrible to see what Max is going through and the guilt and everything. And I feel like Chloe, although she does feel guilty, maybe handles it a little bit better than Max does. Max is like really beating herself up about it. Chloe is more focused on like, hey, let's try and help Max right now. And I really like that about the two of them. So I'm going to keep going with this. Again, if you want to check this out for yourself, links are in the description. Thank you so much, Destiny Smasher, for letting me play this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy watching! In my pocket, I found 6 out of 12 matches, a box of matches. I could get some light using B. Oh. I feel like that was an overreaction. What is it? I don't know. Oh my gosh! We gotta... Let's save it.
Living in progress.
Alright. Some African mask, a woman's face without a soul. Okay. That's blood. Oh my god, I don't know. I can't tell what anything is. It's soil. Fresh soil. So they buried someone recently.
Boston Daily News.
I would like to open it. I can't open it. It's so weird. A man was living there.
Fuck you. I'd wear that hat.
It's my hat now.
I wouldn't wear that hat.